All right, check, 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 check. We're gonna try to dive into this. All right, folks. Let's greet some people. This stuff is really new, and so you're gonna have to forgive me if I'm not as knowledgeable about this stuff as I possibly should be, because nobody really knows the full ramifications of this stuff. But with that, we'll try to get started. Let's greet some people. Craig, I'm putting together the Kennedy thing after I get more info from the SCOTUS decision. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I depend on you because you're the guru, man. Because every time you say something about an election, you're normally right, like 9 times out of 10. Chance, what's going on? Lithium, if the U.S. government wants that ours, they're gonna get. They're getting. No more coping, folks. Everybody's fair game. If they step out of what they consider to be the line to be, that is true. What's up, urban naturalist? What's going on? Ogons Machete, what's up? Vince, what's going on? And it's like he says, likes are free. Got 62 watch, get my likes up. Otherwise, it's gonna be a very short show. Jim Rat, what's going on? Rod, what's going on? Prince, Mr. Donnie Mac, Brian Will, another round. We'll see. Edu, what's going on? Death Racer, what's going on? Little Rock, what's going on? Kareem, what's going on? Well, I couldn't decide which one I was going to do it on anyway, so we'll see. We'll see how far it goes. Cool Gamer, what's up? Bez, what's going on? Maybe just can I get taught under you? Have questions for the master teacher. I'm a Patreon member. We do. We try to do. We try to do lives every week. If you want to be part of the group, then that's the cheapest way to get taught. Uh, Eventually, I'm going to put more up on the Gnostic side, so that's a $20 level. So that's one way to do it. Bebop Peace, what's going on? Pragmatic Prime, what's going on? Sigma Leflair, what's going on? Paul Wilson, what's going on? Jim Rat, I'm actually glad they got rid of affirmative action. It was only a matter of time. True, I don't know how to feel about affirmative action because uh, got to get ready for the fallout. Okay, like they said, there's no solutions, only trade-offs. What do we trade? Nolan, what's going on? Had a soul, what's going on? And Black Pill, what's going on? So you get a couple more, and then we go ahead and get started. It said Buddha 21, what's going on? And let's get started with FedNOW. Did I have a video on this? I think I had a video on this. We There's a couple of things on FedNow. Let me see if I can find a short video on this first. But um, from what I understand about FedNow, um, is it's something. It's an extension of what they already had to begin with back in 2017. It's real time payments, and um, it's using it's there to replace what we call the Swift system. With Swift system, messaging system was fairly slow, but that's what they use, and they're using uh, they're not they say they're not using blockchain, which there's several other ways to actually get a messaging system out. You don't have to use blockchain. I think it's something they developed themselves, but they say they're not using blockchain. Um, so Fed now is merely there to uh, replace Swift. Swift was more hands-on. It went through basically several different major linkages before you can actually get the payments cleared. It used to take like a day or two to get payments cleared, and RTP shortened that to um, into minutes or hours, and Fed now supposed to shorten that to seconds. But to do that, it's got to be more intrusive, and this is what I'm thinking. It's got to be more intrusive. So banks have to adopt the infrastructure, right? And RTP, which is already there um, for bigger institutions, RTP is already there. Um, and right, so what they're doing with Fed now is instead of it being bigger institutions, they want to absorb the costs. The Fed is actually absorbing the cost to spread it out to all banks and all financial institutions. In other words, they want the whole web, and that's what I'm seeing with Fed now. That is the major difference between what's already been going on since 2017 for the last 7 years and what's going on now. I just had a I just had one. I just had one. Uh, but this Fed now is just part of a host of different things that they're actually putting up. Um, and we'll get into that after we really kind of dive into Fed now. It's not one of those things that can be easily understood. When I looked at it, um, um, it's almost like the digital yuan that China has, that has all their banks on. So basically, this is a step toward going paperless. Okay, China is paperless. There's a lot of other countries that are paperless. Like my grandson's um, my grandson's field trip is going to I think it's Magic Mountain. I think it's Soak City, right? But all these amusement parks are cashless. Okay, you can't use cash. You got to either purchase a card um, when you enter the park, or you got to use your phone. But I think it's the next step to using your phone, because that's what China does. You have to carry your phone everywhere in China. Um, you cannot use cash in China, right? And this is several people have told me that. You, one, you can't go outside without your phone. You get caught without your phone, you get a ticket, right? You get a summons. Okay, you're subject to arrest if you don't have your phone. So you have to be on. You have to be have your phone. And number two, you can't buy or sell anything without your phone, without your contact information. So, all you 666 people and you religious people are taught about the mark of the beast. Okay, this is literally your mark of the beast. You carry it. Every place where you go. It not only monitor your transaction, but also monitor your steps. So basically, it's one more step to actually monitoring who you and your movements, and keeping track of it. And with artificial intelligence, now they can keep track of you now. Now um, before that, you'd have to have human beings actually go in and backtrack your information, but they can't do that now. Oh, here's a short. Let's try this short. Let's try this short and see if they can explain it. Okay. Let us see. Share screen. It's a host of things, and I'm gonna try to give you several things that I've seen. Okay. All right. Check if you can hear this. Right.
Send and receive money. At some point in July, the US federal...
Can you give me a one if you guys can hear that? Give me one if you can hear it. So check. Um. All right. Cool. All right.
Reserve is going to roll out FedNOW, a new fast payment system. Now, as you'll probably know, moving money between bank accounts can take days. However, with FedNOW, it is going to take a matter of seconds. So, on the face of it, FedNOW is going to be very convenient and very quick, which means people will most likely happily adopt it. However, it does have some potentially very worrying features. There are signs that the Fed will be looking to build extra programmability into FedNow as the years go by. And this extra programmability could mean that the Fed is able to impose limits on people's spending and will also have oversight of what people spend, where they spend it, and how they spend it. A huge change is coming to the way people send and receive.
See, that's the major part. It's programmability. They can already do that, right? Basically the bank is any banking institution uh, can limit what you spend, what you take out, right? Any banking institution can, but thing is there's legal parameters and there's legal uh, uh, limits on what you can do. Okay, China already does that. Okay, China can already do that. It can limit what you spend. They can cut off your bank accounts. They can track you. They track your payments. They can already do that, right? This is the next step up. It's not about um, taking money out of your account or something like that. They can do that already, right? They can. They can freeze your bank account. They can take money out of your accounts. They can do that already if they want to. Okay, and if they did that on a wide scale basis, nobody would adopt it, right? People would rebel against it. But the thing is, by going cashless is not. Well, most people don't use cash anyway, right? Most people don't. There's not that much cash in the system. Most payments are made electronically anyway. The thing is, now they want to go the next step to go cashless, so they can track. Uh, they can actually keep track of what you spend, where you spend it, and track you as a person. But before that, it was useless because nobody could actually read all the data. It was actually there was nobody there to actually see all that. The rise of the AIs uh, give them that example, right? Actually, give it to them. So we're gonna look now. We know what FedNow is. It really is no different than the Swift system. It's the advanced version of the Swift system. But the thing is, since it's programmable and it can actually be an AI can actually run it instead of a human being. Um, let's go to this. This is okay. This is something that was done in 2012, um, and we're gonna go ahead and share this one. Okay, this is a this is the zero trust system. Okay, that China built in. Okay, as J3 says, get the likes up. This is zero. This is China built a zero trust system back in 2012. In other words, it was an anti-corruption AI to actually detect corruption. They unleashed it on government institutions, also the banks. Okay, so this is like maybe 2 minutes, and this is something. If you read the book Damon by Daniel Suarez, okay, this is something that they wanted AIs to do, track people's social system, but also track people's money. Okay, and so the social AI hasn't gotten here yet, but the thing is, it hasn't been even released in China yet. But the thing is, that is probably the next step.
Built an AI to detect corruption and officials shut it down. Zero trust. Since 2012, a sophisticated artificial intelligence has dug through big data to find signs of corruption in the Chinese government, but local officials in many areas are now shutting it down, according to the South China Morning Post. One researcher involved in the program, which is portentously called Zero Trust, told the Hong Kong newspaper that local officials might be shutting the program down because they don't feel quite comfortable with the new technology. But that has another explanation. The AI works too well. Corruption eruption. Zero Trust sifts through data from banks, property and construction records, and even satellite data to flag signs of corruption, according to the paper. It might notice a suspicious transfer of money, for instance, or a new car or property registered to the name of a government official's family or friends. We just use the machine's result as reference, Zhang Yi, an official in a province that's still using the software, told the. We need to check and verify its validity. The machine cannot pick up the phone and call the person with a problem. the final decision is always made by humans. Algorithmic justice. Though corruption in China is reportedly widespread, officials are probably right to be suspicious of a black box algorithm that can bring down the hammer of justice without explaining its reasoning. AI may quickly point out a corrupt official, but it is not very good at explaining the process it has gone through to reach such a conclusion, an unidentified researcher who worked on Zero Trust told the. Although it gets it right in most cases, you need a human to work closely with it. More on algorithms. Algorithms are no better at predicting repeat offenders than inexperienced humans.
And that was 12 years ago. That was in fact, they shut it down. In fact, it caught so many people that when they looked at it, they had to shut it down. Okay, because it caught way too many people doing shoddy stuff. So then they weren't quite ready for it. Okay, so this is something that the FedNow and the stuff that they're doing now is actually based on. Okay, because it does work. Okay, it does work. If you're doing something that's out of the parameters, it probably will catch you. Um, so that's part two. That's the zero trust. It's called a zero trust system. Let me go ahead and pop that into the chat real quick. Pop that into the chat. Um, so you guys can take a gander at that. Um, and the next thing is I'm actually going to speed this up, but I was looking at it, and this is something that's very new. This right alongside the FedNow system. You just saw the zero trust system in China, and guess what that's what we're going to have here. Okay, same thing, but under a different name and by people that you know. Okay, Google's new AI tool, anti-money laundering for banks. Yeah, this is from the Wall Street Journal. So we're going to speed this up just a bit. 1.25. I think that'll be good. If you guys want it faster, we can. But these are how the bricks are built. Okay.
That's a lot to sift through. This created a market for anti money laundering products. Those typically require a human to manually input certain rules for the program to flag, like deposits of more than $10,000. But that can lead to flagging either too much or too little activity. Now, Google Cloud says it has a better solution. Alphabet's cloud business has launched a new tool that gets rid of those human inputted rules and that the company says is more accurate. WSJ reporter Dylan Tokar has been looking into this and he joins me now. Dylan, start us off by telling us more about the anti-money laundering program market.
So there are a lot of these AML transaction monitoring, or sometimes they're called surveillance programs on the market already. It's basically sort of a prerequisite for a financial institution to have something like this. And the basic problem that financial institutions are trying to solve for with these types of products is they are required by their regulators to screen activity, transactions, customers that do business with the bank, and make sure that nothing suspicious or criminal is going on. Products like what Google Cloud is releasing here have been used by financial institutions for years. And most of them, or if not all of them, claim to use artificial intelligence in some form or fashion.
So what is Google trying to do here?
Google Cloud really is trying to sort of differentiate itself by getting rid of what is called manually defined rules or rule-based programming. So what that means is that most of these programs that are on the market already, they have some sort of basic human parameters or rules that are inputted into the system by the banks that are using them in terms of what types of things it should look for. Google Cloud basically is saying the AML process, the process of looking for risky transactions and the data that banks hold that they have to sift through in order to find these sorts of things has just gotten so complex. These manual rules, this kind of human input is just way too clunky. So if you design a rule, even if it's really specific, it's just going to kick up a lot of alerts. And I mean, the basic problem is just this problem of false positives. And every false positive, every alert that's picked up by one of these systems should be investigated or looked into by a human. So, what Google Cloud is trying to do here is they're trying to say, we're going to limit the amount of human input into this, and it's just going to reduce the number of alerts. And the machine learning is going to figure out what needs to be investigated, and those are going to be just more accurate altogether, and you're going to deal with less quote unquote noise.
How does Google Cloud's tool differ, though, if others are also touting AI in their products?
So it's really the process is different. Google Cloud would argue that their machine learning models or algorithms are just stronger than what's out there already. But really, what kind of differentiates it is how they are deploying the AI in this situation. Typically, what's done is there are rules based inputs or manually defined rules that are put into the system, into the tool when it's set up. And then the AI is then used to sift through or basically kind of manage the number of alerts that gets kicked up. What Google Cloud is doing here is saying, forget the manually inputted rules. We're going to train this API and our machine learning model off of 3 years of your existing transaction alert data. And then this model is going to basically start telling you what you need to look at. So really what's happening here is the artificial intelligence is getting utilized earlier in the process as opposed to at the end when the problem has already been created.
And what has the response to this tool been so far?
So far, Google Cloud, they have a limited number of clients that they've told us about. The big one is HSBC, and they really developed this tool in partnership with HSBC. HSBC was a pre-existing user of their cloud-based services, and HSBC was, had different types of AML screening software, and as if you look back, has had a number of sort of regulatory issues around anti-money laundering and financial crimes going back a number of years, and was really looking to try to improve their systems. And according to HSBC, what they developed in partnership with Google Cloud has been really successful. They've seen a 60% reduction in these false positives. And even more than that, they've seen a 2 to 4 times increase in what's called true positives. So far, the reaction to this launch has been really positive. It'll be very interesting to see whether this is adopted and how successful it ultimately is. The problem of trying to screen hundreds, thousands, billions of transactions, HSBC says that they have to screen 1.2 billion transactions per month. And also, how regulators react to it, right? One thing that's kind of interesting here is that there's a bit of a risk involved. If you hand over the decision around what you need to look at, what is a risky transaction, to a machine learning model or an algorithm, what happens if, it doesn't screen something that should have, right? Who do you hold accountable for that?
All right, that's our reporter, Dylan Tokar. And that is it for today's Tech News Briefing.
All right. That is, you see the connection between the AML from Google and the zero trust AI. It's a very short step. Okay, it's a very short step. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to look at, and these are bricks. Okay, we're not saying that this is exactly what they're doing. We're reading the tea leaves. We're following the breadcrumbs. Okay, we're building a uh, we're building an opinion on what's going on. Okay, so this is not set in stone, but you can see the bricks starting to come together. Okay, this is something. When was this? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This is Forbes, and this is maybe uh, a month or two ago when I read this, and this is something because when Biden got into office in 2020, they passed a law under the if they actually passed an IRS law that the IRS can monitor. You have to report anything over $600 in your bank account. So in other words, if you got $600 of income that comes to your bank account, it used to be like 20,000 or something like that, and so many transactions. But now the amount is, I think, is 10 transactions and $600. And people were up in arms about that you have to report or the IRS can actually look into. But here's something that's gone to the Supreme Court, right? Uh, Supreme Court rules that the IRS can request bank account info without notice to third parties. In other words, uh, really what they're saying is they can just look into your bank accounts for the most part. Okay, if they see suspicious activities, they don't have to send you a notice and tell you that they're going to request information from your bank. Okay, they can just look into it. So they can request directly from the bank and look into your shit, right? Uh, IRS does not need to notify third parties when requesting a summons for banking records in collection matters. Okay, that's what the decision Supreme Court says. The case involved. Well, you're going to tell what the case is. Okay, In other words, a summons is typically a demand to hand over specific information, in this case, financial records. The reason for summonses, according to IRS, is that the information that they were requesting might help them collect what policy had already been determined to owe. The IRS did not notify Posey's wife or his lawyers about the summonses were issued to the banks, relying on the exception, and they gave the tax code, which excludes them from notice requirements. Summonses included in aid of collection. In other words, they don't have to notify you. Okay. So in other words, they don't have to notify you to look into your bank accounts anymore. So that's another brick. Okay. I think Biden extended third-party estimate. I think they already did. Yeah, they already did. In fact, they kind of stalled it out about you. They actually said for the last year they weren't going to request that you report it, but I think this year you're going to have to report it. So about the $600. Yeah, they're gonna have to. It's a slip. It's more than a slippery slope. Okay, that slope is all the way into the pool. Okay. Um, the next one. Let's see. And this is something. Let me go ahead and give you guys the link to that. Anybody can find it, but I'll give you the link to it. What's up, Encrypted Wolf? I'll go ahead and give you the link to it. Paste the link to it. It's a Forbes article. Okay. This is how you do research. Okay. This is how you do research. The next one. Okay, we already did that with the zero trust. What was that? What I was thinking about the zero trust, the machine laundering, AI, and there was one more that I was gonna tap into. Oh, with the looking into your bank account. So basically, all three of those things mean they can actually look into your bank account almost anytime they want to, without notice. Okay, without notice, they can. They basically, if you with the anybody believes that the AI looking into machine laundering cannot be specified to actually look at everything. They already do look at everything. But the thing is, they have to build out this system. That's probably the only saving grace. Basically, it's a very short list of people actually using FedNow, okay, or real time processing. So basically, it has to build itself out, and it has to use the Federal Reserve's money to actually build this system out, because most institutions don't have the money to actually input these kind of controls. So FedNow is basically it's going to be your cashless system. And the reason you have a cashless system, just like China does, is so that the AI can actually go in and monitor your bank accounts, because humans can't do it. Like I said, with HBSC, right? They can't monitor 1 billion transactions a month, but an AI can. And and with adjustable rules, or a proper AI, then it can do almost as good a job as a human can, and flag it. Even though a human has to look at it, but it can actually flag it. Now, what if you're hiring all these IRS agents to do what? Look at real-time processes, look at real-time flags that of ordinary people. So I'm not saying this is what they're planning, okay? But what I'm saying is this is the use of artificial intelligence to do stuff like this. And the more we train it, the smarter it gets. Guess what it's going to be able to do? It's going to be able to uh, think like the average human worker, which is basically going over paperwork and looking for triggers. And if like I said, if it can go back 3 years of your normal banking activity, if you do something that's out of the ordinary, it's going to trigger it. So, and we're about 30 minutes in. I told you this is not going to be very long, because we don't quite know enough about it. You know, um, it was something that COVID kind of accelerated, about moving cash out of the system, because the first they had to do was give vendors access to the cashless system, which they did, which COVID uh, allotted enough money to so that the average vendor can actually have what the debit card readers and access to to the cashless system to where it doesn't cost as much. And the AI, we're moving people out of the system. They don't need as many agents to actually keep an eye on this kind of stuff. Well, it, they would have needed a massive amount of people to actually keep an eye on stuff like this before. But now, artificial intelligence, they can do it fairly easily. And this is what's coming. So I don't know, y'all. Get ready. Get ready. This is just part of the new world. How does all this connect with the BIS? The BIS is the Bank of International Settlements is where all it's like the Bank of International Settlements is almost like the UN for central banks. It's where they all come together, they all decide how to make their rules, they all decided on what they're going to agree upon. So this is almost like a UN mandate. So the Bank of International Settlements uh, doesn't really weigh in on how you settle payments. Okay, that's up to you. Um, but what it does do is a central site like the UN. Okay, what are we going to oversee? What do you guys agree to that we're going to oversee? Because China's going to have a different system than the United States, and London is going to have a different system than, say, France or Germany or something like that. The thing is, there's certain central rules that the Bank of International Settlements will actually come together and figure out, and this may be one of them. We don't know because um, China's banking system is going to grow to the point where it's going to be almost incompatible with the West, and how they monitor their system. But we'll see. We'll see. This is more about control instead of about money. Anyhow, if you guys want to chat, we have it's 32 minutes in. I'll drop the link if you guys want to talk about it. It's really new. I don't know how much we can really talk about this because we have to, like I said, when complex systems like this, you got to see how they use it. Can they use it? Can they deploy it? Is it viable? Okay. Is it going to fail? Will people react to it? We don't know. It's too new. But these are actually the building blocks. Um, there was one more thing that I was thinking about, and I can't remember what it was. But they're doing. But we already know about the $600. Okay, we already know about. I just showed you the Supreme Court ruling that they can look into your bank accounts without you knowing it. So with the FedNow data, because it's gonna it looks at all the transactions, or coming and going into all bank accounts. Looks at all transactions, and all that's going to get fed into a machine learning program and a money laundering program, or several of them, just like Google. Okay, and with them having the legal parameters where they can actually legally look into your bank account, legally go into your bank accounts and actually look at them, look at your bank records. That's all they really need. They have complete control. And with AI, they got more than enough manpower. What are my thoughts on DeFi, aka decentralized finance? It's only decentralized finance is good if you can find people that agree to it. But how do you transfer payments from one person to the other? There has to be some kind of platform. Okay, decentralization is fine. You can make all the money you want in Bitcoin, but things you have to cash, you got to exchange it for some kind of value someplace. You got to spend it somewhere, and you got to spend it with the government, with the country. If they don't accept that payment, guess what? You can't spend it. It's just paper. So at the end of the day, if I don't care how much money you make in Bitcoin, you got to turn it in for real stuff at some point. Otherwise, it's just digital, and that's where they get you. When you try to spend it, it's not making it. You can make it. When you try to spend it, that's where they get you. You got to spend it somewhere. Go ahead, Salty. Jump in.
Good afternoon.
What's going on?
It's been a good day.
This is right up. This is right in your wheelhouse.
Oh, yes. First thing, the $600 requirement is in effect for this year, so you will be getting a 1099K.
Yeah.
So that's official.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole DeFi, fintech, all that stuff. I mean, a lot of those people, if they didn't come from the finance, high finance, as we in finance told them, we said, you guys are going to have to learn finance. You're going to have to learn the financial system. Of course, they didn't listen to us.
Yeah.
Here we are. Now they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, oh shit, you were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, okay, you can have any system you want because it's just it's just an exchange system.
Exactly.
People make money too complicated, right? It's too
Yes.
complicated. It's exchanging value for value, right? How do you exchange it? Money is just a medium of exchange for that value, right? But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, if I say I hire Sauchi for something, say I'm having to do my taxes, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I can give him Bitcoin. But the thing is, if Sauchi cannot exchange that Bitcoin into something tangible, it's no good to him.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's no good to him. You can't exchange. You have to exchange that value inside a system, which is a country, right? Which
Yep.
is country's monetary system. So in other words, Bitcoin's no good until you exchange it for dollars or exchange it for a yuan or RMB or
Yep.
exchange it for pounds or euros, right? You got to change it for something that people actually accept unless you're going to make Bitcoin another currency, which is not stable enough to be a currency.
Yeah.
You can't base the currency on something that goes from $10,000 to $60,000 and then back down to 10. It's too unstable.
Yeah, I was just about to say, see, this is what the common person don't understand. One, it's a system or systems of trust. And then secondly, how do we compute the fair market value? So that is constantly going on. So if the more unstable something is, or a quote unquote asset is, obviously there's going to be less trust. I mean, it's just human nature.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, say you got paid, and imagine you got $10,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
And it's in Bitcoin, right? And it's worth $10,000. It may be worth $15,000 next month, and you'll be happy. But what if it's worth $5 the next month, and you got to pay bills?
You're gonna be pissed.
You're gonna be pissed. You're not gonna be very happy, and you're not gonna use it as a currency. And
That's
I always say when I first saw it, I said it's a risky investment vehicle. It's there to trade. It's not there to hold.
That's right.
Now I can't pound it. People have believe the hype that it's there to hold. It's an investment. I said I would not. I said personally, anything that volatile, I would not use it as an investment. It's there.
Yeah.
It's a trading vehicle. Okay, if you can find out the algorithm, make money off of it. Okay, make
Correct.
value off of it. I said I wholeheartedly agree. But the thing is, it's too volatile to actually hold as a stable investment. In my opinion, you can do what you want. And I've seen people I've gotten people out of deals, man, because I've had people in Bitcoin when it got high, and I saw and it cracked the chart, and people asked me about it. They actually saw I put up a video, man. You need to get out of Bitcoin. I think it was at topped at 63, and I think it was down to like 58. And I said, people, y'all need to get out of this. They said, if you made a profit, get out and wait. And a lot of people that were convinced and holding it said, okay, let me look at this. And they actually got out. They actually got out with some money instead of going back down. I think it went down to like 20 or maybe 19.
Yeah.
It went down like 3, like 2/3, and so people got out. But the thing is that maybe I'm old school, man. Anything that's not stable, I don't trust like that. It's there to trade. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is absolutely true. Again, the issue is a lot of these people, because there's easy access to get in, they think that they can come in the game and that they're gonna outsmart one in the market or two of the sharks. And it's like, dude, you don't realize that those of us who are in the game, or especially been in the game, it's not about emotions. You got emotions, you're gonna have problems.
Yeah. What is it? All ye enter. What did they say that?
My opinion is, I tell people, especially when people ask me about investments, my first opinion, I have two things I always tell them. I don't recommend it. And second, spend money on educating yourself. Those are the first two things I tell people. I say, other than that, I'm telling you right now, mathematically, the game is so against you. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Period. Like, just don't do it. If you don't know what you like, if you don't have the mind for it and you don't have the time to really put in, I'm telling you, you're not you're not going to win. It's just not
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah, the thing is, if people that they said that the Fed actually ruined the dollar don't understand what the Fed's uh, uh, why the Fed was actually established. It wasn't established for you; it was actually established to actually save the banking
For the
system.
system,
Yeah,
yes.
in other words, to stabilize your banking system. That's its first
It-
job. Okay.
and not crazy, but what I mean, Powell's going to be, they're having a meeting again this month.
Hmm.
One of the first 5 sentences on every Fed meeting interview, it's the same thing. He says, which is true. He's quoting it from their mission statement.
Yeah.
The Fed is here to. So for anyone to think otherwise, the bank says it every single time. This tells me either you aren't paying attention, you're naive, or you're stupid.
Right. Right.
I mean, he's telling you this is what we're here for. And you can go on their website. It's right. It's first
Yeah.
page. It's
It
not hard.
it was that's why it's private. It's there established by the banks, but it has to report to the Treasury Department. That's what it has to
Correct.
report to. Yeah, that's what it has to report to. It's there to actually stabilize your banking system. When it does it well, nobody cares what the Fed does.
That's right.
Okay? When they go out of bounds and they screw up, then that's when there's a problem. Naturally, that's any central bank. Okay,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
any central
Yeah.
bank. Okay, there's no major economy that does not have a central bank. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
You name me one, find one. Find me one major economy without a central bank. Your payments and your banking system has to be controlled. Otherwise, you're going to get all kind of different banking rules, and a banking fell in California, and people
Be a
are out
mess.
of money. That's why people put their money underneath the mattress. Okay, they didn't
Exactly.
trust the banks. You have to stabilize the banks. That's what it's there for. I'm not saying that I love the Fed. I do not. Okay, I'm not
Correct.
a fan of the Fed. But the thing is, you have to understand what his mission is first.
Yeah.
His mission is to do what? Take care of the banks. Okay, even during the crisis in 2008, this mission was to save the banks first. The
Yeah.
second mission is to stabilize the currency. That is the second mission. And now what you're having is a crisis between its two missions. Stabilize its dollar, its US dollar,
Yep.
and stabilize the banks. Those two missions are becoming more and more incongruous right now. Okay,
Yes.
because of what's going on now. That's how come Janet Yellen, who used to be a Fed chairman, and Powell now are having differences of opinion about how to go forward, right?
Correct.
She's there to save the banks, okay? He's there to save the currency. There was the two different things. Raising rates will actually strengthen that's how come your currency is still fairly strong. It hasn't
Oh yeah.
lost much appreciated because he did raise rates. And that under these kind of crises, that's what you're supposed to do. Uh,
Yes.
I'll give we'll use Sauchi's home country, Liberia, as an example, right? Okay, when a currency crisis happens, or competition for currency happens any place in the world, right? A small country like Liberia, first thing it's going to do is what? It's going to raise rates. Okay, the rates are going to say it started off at 5 or 6, it's going to go to 18. And a
Yep.
smaller the country, more viable, volatile it is going to be 20. Like I think Ghana is during COVID, Ghana's whatchamacallit, Ghana's CD rates were 8%, right?
Mhm.
Which is low compared to what they've been going through, right? Okay, but when all of a sudden when there was a currency crisis, they went from, they went from 8 to 13% because the currency was 5 CDs to $1. They went to 13. Okay, that's unsustainable. They have to stabilize the
Yes.
currency. How do they do? They have to attract value or money back into the country. How do you do
That's
that?
right.
You make interest rates attractive. That's first of all. That's first of what you do. Second thing you do is you cut government costs or financial costs, which is lay off
Yeah.
people. Okay,
Yes.
that's what happened in the 70s when they went off the gold standard. They did two things.
Hmm.
They raised rates, okay, and they started laying off people, okay, or start outsourcing work for cheaper
Yes.
labor. Okay,
Yep.
that is that's the what we call uh, everybody else calls it austerity, right? We call it stagflation because we want it to be nicer. Okay,
Yes.
but that is the good old fashioned gold standard. People practice about it. If this was the gold standard, okay, y'all don't want to live on the gold standard in these conditions, right?
Things
Y'all
got to
just don't.
balance.
You
Oh,
don't. The gold
you,
standard
you,
under
you,
these conditions. No, you don't.
basically you would be it would be reality. So all your credit,
Yeah.
you would basically lose you would lose everything. You would lose all your credit, like whatever balance you have, that is it. That's it. That's where you're at. So it would be reality. And again, the only people who would be able to get credit would be those who are productive and proven.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Remember Germany with the wheelbarrows? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when your currency goes out of whack. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh man, they're gonna toss the currency out for the win.
Yeah. If you really want a good, and Sauchi, that's why I love Sauchi. Sauchi's an expert in stuff because he's seen both sides, right? He's seen a first world country, the empire, how they do business, but also how the little small African countries do business, right? And if you really want to study austerity and how the system really works, don't study the big guys. Study the little guys, okay?
Yeah.
How they react to stuff, how they react to currency, how they react to austerity rules, how they react to tariffs and stuff like that. Because they're on the ground, they have to react instantly. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
That is a study on a gold system, or even this quasi fiat system, okay, which is really still tied to gold in a sense. Okay, they're using a quasi gold standard rules even for this fiat system. Okay, it goes too far out of whack. Even this is something that you, if you read, you'll learn. Okay, there's a reason that why Keynes took us off of a strict gold system, right? Is because people wonder how come the Fed has an inflation rate of 2 or 3%, right? And people said, okay, that's just inflation. They just want to make more money for banks. No, that's how much your population increases, right? That's what they go by, inflation rate. Inflation rates go by the expected number of workers coming into a population, right? So if you get a 3% population increase, they said anticipate we're going to have to expand the monetary supply to accept these new workers coming in, and that's really what inflation is actually based on. It's the growth of population, right?
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, you'd have to put people out of work, and then you're gonna have to go do what Germany does, or France does, or one of the other countries do, go take somebody's shit.
Exactly. Yep. And that's why when they're constantly obviously reporting inflation, and which whatever they report, I typically just double it. That's why I just to be lazy. I mean, but
they do some voodoo economics.
Exactly.
Wizardry.
On
inflation.
I call it.
Yes.
And obviously the GDP. So people need to realize, I mean, we in the world we are fortunate, So I mean, we are currently suffering, but comparably.
Okay. Go to the UK and see what their inflation rate is right now, right? Or go to Germany, see what their inflation is right now.
I'll go to Venezuela.
Oh gosh, they don't exist. Okay, they do not exist.
This is what I try to tell people. I said we got an internet, man. You guys have to look outside of America, and really get a macro view and understand. And this is why I always say about power. Power it doesn't axe, and it's never a day off. That's America.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can stay on. That's the only way you can stay on top.
Yeah.
The only way.
And they want to make it nice and smooth and gentle because they don't want to upset you. And they lie their ass off. Okay?
Yes.
Basically, you get the velvet glove. Everybody else gets the iron fist. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
Okay. No empire is nice. Go back. If you really want a lesson in empire, man, go look at Andor, right? Okay, not the Star Wars, but look at Andor. Andor is how empire actually really runs. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I loved Andor. That's how empire actually really runs from the ground up. Outside of Darth Vader and the Emperor, okay, how does it run from day to day? Yeah. That's what Andor actually showed you, how it runs from day to day. And sometimes it was gentle and sometimes it was very hostile. Okay. And when you got out of bounds, okay, the Iron Fist came out really rapidly. Okay. And the United States is no different than the empire in Andor. Okay. All empires run this way. Somebody's gonna lose, okay, and it's not gonna be the empire. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
But the thing is, you're inside it, so your lifestyle is based on some of the ugly things or the not so savory things that the empire does in your name.
Yep. And I could tell you another thing that people don't realize that's occurring right now is the CFPB. I mean, it already took effect March of this year, but the vast majority of small businesses, basically, this is the small business version of the $600. So
Yeah.
if you make 5 million or less, which is the vast majority of small businesses,
Uh,
they have new rules that banks have to follow now. It's like a 20 data point rule that's into effect now. Like where I'm at, we just received from the gentleman I typically tell you about that I
yeah.
speak with here. He sent the email out on the 29th.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's happening. So what I see coming right now, obviously, because you're seeing, and I said this like last year, I said, revenues are going to have to go down, margins are going to go down. So now this is going to hit small businesses. So interest rates are going up, and it's
Yeah.
obviously going up to 50 basis points
Yeah. At
more
minimum. Yeah. At
minimum
minimum. Yeah.
exactly this
Yeah.
year. So it's becoming more expensive for businesses to lend. So this is going to affect small businesses and big businesses, more so small businesses. So this is also going to affect the consumers because the consumers, the vast majority of people who earn money have jobs.
Yeah.
So this again, because most small businesses, they really don't have, in my opinion, they don't have their shit together. Like the stuff that I tell, the guys, on these lives about having your bookkeeper, having your tax pro, your CPA,
Yeah.
having a real good banker who understands underwriting. A lot of these guys, they're not functioning like that.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not trained, and I don't think that they really haven't had to because of the way that the
The
Fed
zero
and
interest rates.
so what
The zero interest rates.
that the zero interest rates is okay. That is another. Um, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Zero interest rates. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. That's kind of a side to what we're talking about right now. But really, that most businesses haven't done it because it was unnecessary. It was an expense they didn't need to actually have, and they got
Yeah.
away with it because it wasn't necessary. But now, with all this stuff coming in,
Oh, you
yeah,
need.
it might be because artificial intelligence has actually changed the game because then they can actually monitor this stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, I may play it. I may go over the last couple seasons of Person of Interest because they actually talk about AI actually doing exactly what this AI is actually doing. Okay, and a guy turned me on to this. He was actually in the DoD, and he
Mm.
turned me on to this back in 2012. I want to say because
Okay.
Person of Interest started in 2008. It went from 2008 to like 2014 or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, and actually explained exactly what an AI could do as far as monitoring people and exactly what they say the zero trust AI did in China, okay, which
Yeah.
was similar, right? The reason they shut it down not is because it was making mistakes, is because it was catching people it wasn't supposed to. Okay,
Exactly. Yeah. It's a great series.
Oh, it's too
I think
good,
it is.
huh?
yeah,
In other words, it was too good.
it was too good, and basically it's catching their friends. That's why they shut it down.
Yes.
Okay? And so, that's why I showed you that first because that was 2012, right? This is 2023.
Yes.
11 years later, and guess what you have now? Do you think that the Google and a machine, a money laundering AI was not modeled on the one from China?
Oh, I'm sure it
Exactly.
was.
Exactly.
And do you not think that they announced it that it's not going to be widespread in some of these banks, especially if FedNow, it's might be part of FedNow's program. I'm not saying that it is, but the thing is, we have to look at the building blocks. Now,
Exactly.
Saucy's way more adept at this kind of stuff than I am, right? So I'm a lay analyst that collects things, man, and looks at things and said, let me put these two pieces together and see if that makes sense. And then I turn it over to a guy like Saucy. Saucy, does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at the blocks, I'm showing you the blocks because you asked me about Fed now. The Fed, they have been trying to go cashless, man, since I started trading currencies back in '94. Okay.
Damn, they've been trying to go cashless for almost 30 years now.
Basically if you look at the M1, the M1, M2, M3, it's only like 5% of transactions, right? It's only 5%.
That's true. That's it.
You only have 5% cash for all the money transactions that go on in the United States. Only 5% are actually in cash. It's only 5% cash. I'm talking about checks, I'm talking about coins, I'm talking about dollar bills, right? It's only 5%, right? And that was then. Okay, now it's like 2 or 3%. So that's how come they figured they can. The COVID gave them the opportunity to take more cash out of the system. Like I said, like my grandson, right? Okay, we have to put money on his phone. Okay, Apple Pay, because the amusement parks don't take cash; they're cashless now. Okay,
which makes sense. Now, it's easy. Well, actually, it's harder for the employers to steal.
Yeah, it's harder for
To
employees.
account for it.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's harder for a banker to turn his head the other way.
That's
So
true,
anytime you're gonna see drug money laundering, it's because it's approved by the government. Okay, let that one go through.
Oh yeah,
Because it's gonna flag. If it hasn't been done already, HSBC got in trouble for that because you saw this flag, you just decided to ignore it.
And that system is OFAC. So again, so a lot of this, I've said this before, these TikTok and all this other nonsense, when they're telling you, oh man, you can just, get lending easy. No, you can't. No, you can't.
Yeah.
If they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, no, you can't. We're looking at least where I'm at, we look at everything. And then even after the facts, if you're like new, on the other side, relationships are very important. So if you don't have a relationship with a bank, we want to see a quarterly finances. And certified from a CPA firm every quarter, and then your annual, and then your personal. So we want to see everything.
Yeah, proud to be a simp. With quantum computers, your central banks can see end-to-end transactions on any kind of cryptocurrency. Okay, they can see end-to-end transactions. They were able to do that like 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, they can actually basically a quantum computer can actually come in and replace your whole crypto system within minutes. Okay, replace it. You'd never know.
And that's why the best guys, at least the guys that I follow, I've been following since this whole Bitcoin thing. They say, get your coins better not be on. You better have a card. Get it off. You get it. You put it on your card.
You get a card and get it off. But
get it off of the exchange.
Get it off the exchange. And number two, at some point, okay, I don't care how much money you have. At some point, you're gonna have to spend it.
Exactly. Yep.
As soon as you put that money back into the system, it's gonna flag it.
Yep. And guess what? It's you have to report it.
You have to report it. It's gonna flag it. It's gonna flag the bank. It's gonna find out where that purchase went. If it can't track you, it's gonna track your purchase. They're gonna find you. Okay. AIs are very adept at doing this. So basically, that's not a way around. That's another reason why they do it. They go into this end-to-end transaction. They find people like you.
Yep. And then you have the IRS again. The IRS, they have their own division, man. They have their own criminal division. So before even they've actually pretty much been using the system. Prior to AI, well, before they actually implemented any AI there, they were already using stats. So they already can tell when your lifestyle is above what you're reporting. And if the criminal division, if they contact you, you did something, trust me.
Yeah.
They're not going to waste their time.
Yeah. A crowd to be assembled. This is what I would say as an old trader, man. Wait, you can get on the bottom, but I say do what the smart guys do. Wait for it to move first.
Yes.
Wait for it to move first. If it moves, get in, okay, and put your proper stops in, okay, because saying it's going to make trillions, we have no clue, okay, about what they're going to do. I've heard a lot of this stuff went back in the 90s about certain tech companies. Okay, get in early, and
the ones that didn't have any revenue.
Yeah. The ones that were in favor, like Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple. Okay, well, Apple always made money, but but you have certain tech companies that didn't make no money, like Amazon for a very long time. Okay,
has Twitter ever made money?
Who's that? Twitter? Yeah, when they sold it, yeah. When Elon Musk bought it, yeah, they made money.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the environment we're in right now.
Yeah,
Until somebody buys it. Yeah.
Now Google has always made money. Google
Yeah.
has always made money. Okay, because it's based on advertising.
I
Google
was
has
just about to say that.
they
Yep.
have always made money. That's one thing. That's why YouTube. That's why they were going to make YouTube profitable. Okay, when they
And
got
Facebook. And Facebook.
and
But see,
Facebook.
and that's why I was telling people. I've been telling people for like 10 plus years. I'm like, listen, I look at them prior to them really getting into tech. I say I look at them as an advertising company. People look at me funny. I say you need to look at the books.
Yeah.
Where's their biggest revenue? They're making tens of billions of dollars a month off from advertising. So I'm going to look at them as an advertising company. Prior to the past few years. That's where their money. This is why YouTube is free and all this stuff. That's
proud to be a cent man. Calm down, man. Okay, you don't need to spam the comment section because you're excited. If you're really that excited, the link is there. You can come up and talk. Okay, you don't have to. There's a whole thing about a open panel, right? You don't have to spam the comment section. You really want to talk that much? Come on the panel.
Oh, and about all this Bitcoin stuff, I warned people years ago. I said, listen, when the big boys come, basically, when BlackRock and those guys come in, that's a sign that the game has begun and you're going against sharks.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Oh, you were going against sharks from the very beginning, because you're just going against the red sharks instead of blue sharks. The Chinese were in control of Bitcoin. I found that out I told people that very early. Okay, really, if you follow China, you be able to make money off of Bitcoin really easily because when the Chinese Communist Party want to make money, okay, with their members, they help drive the price of Bitcoin up. Okay, when they wanted to sell out, guess what they did? They deflated the price. Okay, and they've done that several times. Okay, they recently you might get a bump now because they're thinking about going back into it. They didn't completely get rid of it, so keep an eye on them. Okay, because the last time it rose is because they got into it and they rode it up to 66, I think it was, and then they put in the digital yuan and it went poof down. Okay, they pushed all the Bitcoiners out because they wanted their own currency, their own digital currency. That was the RMB or the yuan. Okay, so they pushed all the Bitcoin. Most of the Bitcoiners in the United States now. Most of them.
Yep.
Major ones. They're up north where the near the shale fields because they got tons of natural gas, and so they're running their operations off of natural gas. The biggest thing about Bitcoin and cryptos, it take a lot of energy. So they're going to need more advanced technology to make it more stable and more worthwhile and less expensive. But the Fed is not using crypto. All the Fed did was just replace the inefficient SWIFT system with something else. So you're going to see.
That's what I heard, that the SWIFT is like when somebody puts a check in or something, but it takes like 3 to 10 days.
Yeah, because it has to be handled at each step of physically each institution, right? And it has I think the SWIFT system for you to get paid, depending on where it is, it takes anywhere from 3 to 6 institutions actually settle your payment. Whereas the FedNOW or a digital system for central banks, you can do it in seconds or minutes with things short the time period. In other words, they're advancing this system so that artificial intelligence can actually take over and actually monitor it, because you can't monitor the old SWIFT system. So what I'm saying is it's changing. Okay, I'm not saying whether it's good or bad. It depends on your situation. The thing is, I'm just, you guys asked for it. I'm just and Sauchi's up here. He can tell me whether I'm full of shit or not. So sometimes I am. Okay, but Sauchi will correct me. But what I'm saying is it's changing into something. Remember I said that when ChatGPT was more than just fun. Okay, when I first saw it.
Oh yeah.
This is this anti-money laundering system. That's ChatGPT on steroids. Okay, that's what it's really there for. Go ahead, Albert.
I'm working with Copilot. It's amazing. It's amazing. I can want to write a class, and it reads how I do stuff, and it'll literally write what I'm thinking about doing.
Yeah, because people think they're so different, right? One thing the management should have taught you that people are way more similar than they are different.
Different.
And
Yes.
like
Yep.
80 to 90% of the time, if you have a problem, you have a thinking process the way you've been trained, you got 80 other guys that think the same way. So ChatGPT said, okay, what's the most likely outcome of this guy's thinking? Boom. And they had said, is this it? He said, oh yeah, it is it. Well, they're on the money.
Yeah.
Like I had a problem. There's some old code that
Hmm.
I hadn't used in a while, so I looked up, found out where the reference was. When I created a method to encapsulate it, so I don't have to write it all the time. That GitHub Copilot wrote it for me.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah. Well, basically, okay, the Swift system and its rules are built for old technologies, right?
Full
So
network.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So Swift system could have. There was limitations to a Swift system. That's like when they were going to replace it with XRP at first, and then now there's the central bank digital currency. In other words, you got new tools now. So you have to write, and basically old systems cannot always run on new tools. Okay, so
Yeah.
Swift system
Hmm.
probably had to go. So
Yeah.
is it gone? It's not gone yet. But the thing is,
No.
this is what's coming to replace it. But the thing is, it
It-
has to be widespread.
Yeah, and people don't realize, you're looking at one is internationally and then it's domestically. So,
Yeah.
and then remember, everybody, again, this is based off of trust.
Yeah.
Both parties, you need to you need to verify that it isn't fraud, that the
Hmm.
people who are initiating it, one, they're authorized, and then we're in
Yeah.
agreement to
Yeah.
that amount. So that's
Yeah.
what's going on. And then there's a point in time, like I think it drops off at 3:00 p.m. So if anything happens after that, technically it's next day. So like these are things that the common person, they don't know. They're just making a transaction, expecting it. Oh, I get it around this time. Nah, bro. Technically, I mean you did, but technically, I don't want to bore them with the process, but technically it really took this long because people were verifying shit.
Yeah, proud to be Sim. Stop causing fights in my comment section. Okay, man. I ask you to chill out. So chill out, man. We're not talking about Bitcoin today, right? Bitcoin is a different subject. Okay, you found a winning trade. You got in, made your money, got
Yeah.
out. Kudos to you. Okay.
Yeah,
So
we're talking about the network, not a coin.
and
There's
I'm
a
talking
big
about coin.
there's a difference. There's a difference.
Yeah,
There's a big
this
difference.
is way bigger than Bitcoin. Okay, trust and believe. Way bigger than Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin doesn't do the trillions of transactions. That's one bank doing trillions of transactions a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Fauci, do you think this is going to replace stuff like FedNow? Things like FedNow. Is it going to replace things like Cash App and those kind of apps?
No.
No, correct.
No. Basically, this is how Cash App. Cash App is nothing but a virtual bank. That's really what it is. A payment, a third party payment settler, right? That's what it is. You can't
For
actually
consumers.
for consumers, right? But the thing is, what the Fed and the banks and Biden administration want to do is connect all these things.
Yeah, again, the other thing is looking at it from a consumer perspective, at the consumer level, and then looking at the business or / federal level. So
Yeah.
this FedNow, we're talking about the entire network. So there's a big
Hey,
difference.
proud to be a simp. I looked into XRP back in 2017. Okay, with Ripple. I actually bought some Ripple back in 2017. Okay, XRP. So I looked into it. I knew about Bitcoin back in 2009. Okay, when they were still mining it. So I know what it is. Okay, I know how currencies work. And the thing is don't worry about the technology. Worry about how currencies actually work. They all work the same way. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a Bitcoin, a seashell, gold. They all work the same way.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to settle payments. Humans still work the same way. And so it
Yep.
doesn't matter. Okay.
This is just another iteration. Like this is in terms of we're just transitioning again into a different stage. This
Yeah.
in human in the last few hundred years, I think this is like the 6th or 7th iteration, like what I mean. But again, people don't understand the system, and then people don't read. So you're just gonna get left behind if you don't understand these types of things, or get ripped off trying to invest.
We're trying to. This is actually This is the Bitcoin, that kind of stuff. We're talking about trading it. That's a lower level conversation.
Yes.
This is infrastructure, right? This is how the infrastructure actually works. Okay, you asked about it. It's really a very complex topic. Okay, it's kind of hard to simplify it. But the
Yeah.
thing is that we're trying to understand how they're moving from an older system, which they're being forced to, because China's already done it for the most part, right? And when the BRICS come together, they're actually going to convert to this whole system. So the Fed and the United States is actually playing catch up, because people in the United States actually resistance to systems like this. They don't want to cash the system.
Yeah.
How do you get them on? How do you wean them off of cash? Okay, COVID actually gave them a way to actually wean people off of cash,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to do it until there's no more cash. There's upsides. It's easier to move around and move your money around, but also they can track you. You can't, you can't keep your
Yeah.
stash money anymore like you used to, right? You
Yeah.
can't do things like you used to. And increasingly, once the people that actually, the stores and people like that, stop accepting cash, you're gonna be stuck. Like in China, you can't use cash in China. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all inside the system, so they can track every penny that you do. Now, thing is, physically, a people cannot do it, right? You cannot hire enough people to actually keep up with all these transactions. But guess what can? That's why they're converting all this stuff over to something that an artificial intelligence can read.
Yep. No days off. No breaks. No health insurance.
24/7. Like
Right.
when
Yes.
you like instead like on your phone when somebody gives you a check, okay? Instead
No
of you telling
strikes.
to a teller, okay?
Yeah.
Basically, what you do, you take a picture of it, right? It converts that into
There you go.
ones and zeros and puts it into, within minutes, puts it into your bank account, right? Instead of it taking a day or two or a day or three to actually settle that transaction, it does it in
They
minutes.
call.
Yeah. Like I've done it several times, right? Somebody gives me a check, okay? You pick up the phone, front side, back side, and it posted within like 5 minutes instead of taking 3 days.
Oh yeah, I was doing that from the very start.
So would you guys say that like a part of the future is going to be like centralized with FedNow and then decentralized with like Bitcoin?
No,
No.
it's all going to be centralized, okay? Because let's play a currency game, right? Okay, say you got let's say $100,000 of Bitcoin that nobody knows about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with it?
Hope that somebody takes it.
What?
You hope that somebody takes
it during the transaction
as a payment. Yeah, as a
it.
payment.
Okay. So you hope that somebody takes it, right? How's that person going to pay you? If they take it, how are they going to pay you?
Electronically.
In what? In Bitcoin, in dollars? What? Yen?
Dollars.
What? Dollars. Okay.
Yeah.
What happens when they pay you in dollars?
It gets tracked.
It gets tracked.
Bing.
Bing. Okay.
Ding 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 ding.
And then the first thing in question: who did you pay? It's got to be paid in your name, right? Because it got to go into an account somewhere, right? Unless you're gonna, even if it's cash. Okay.
So the only way to avoid that would be like Bitcoin to Bitcoin transactions.
Yeah, you could. Okay, if you can find somebody, if you can find enough people that will do that for you.
But eventually, you have to come out, because the odds that you have over $100 million and you don't need money like that is highly improbable.
Yeah.
So
you had to find a banker that will launder it for you. Okay.
Oh boy.
UBS? Oh, excuse me.
In other words, if you have $100 million that nobody knows about, and you want to get it, because you got to get it back into a system to be used, right? Whatever system that you're in, whatever country you're in, right? You got to find a banker to actually input that currency, that those credits into their system, so it can actually be used. At that point, that system can track you.
It's kind of like going back to gold and silver. You have to convert it.
You got to convert it. Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, obviously, you talk about different speeds here.
Yeah.
But that's all we're like, when you look at it for what it is, just the base. That's all it is. Obviously, it's just more complex, but that's all you're doing. That's it.
Yeah, I once, you know, I was like in the '99 sister. It's like a couple of years ago, right? And this chick comes in to pay for a purchase, and uh, she's got $10 silver, right?
Oh wow.
Now I started with, as I had known that I'd have bought them for her. I'd have gave her 50. I'd have gave her $50 for the $10 silver. But she paid for a transaction for $10 silver. Guess how much she got for it in purchase? $10. That's what they
Oh.
were worth, right? That's what
Mm.
they're worth in face value when you actually put it into a system, right? Now she could have gone to a coin dealer,
Yeah.
converted that, and got about $300, right? The thing, I don't know where she got them. The thing is, she didn't know what they were worth. But the thing is, when you put them into, but you have to convert it into something that people will actually accept as payment.
Exactly.
Other than that, they're going to accept face value.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, it does. What's happening is that there's a lot of information going on, going around nowadays. So much to the point that it can be like very confusing as for what people should be doing.
Go to the source. That's my opinion. Is my suggestion to anyone is always go to the source. Okay.
Now,
as close as you can get to it as possible.
Now, if you can find a country that accepts Bitcoin in payment, I think there's a couple that do. I think
really?
smaller. Yeah, I think there's a couple. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Zimbabwe might.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think Zimbabwe might. I don't know if Venezuela does. There's a couple that do accept Bitcoin as payment. I'm trying to remember who they are. There's like 2 or 3 countries on the planet that actually accept Bitcoin as payment. I think Zimbabwe might be one, and there's another one. But the thing is that most small countries like that, you have to convert to a local currency because the vendors don't accept Bitcoin. They can't.
Yeah.
They don't have the
Infrastructure.
apparatus, the infrastructure to actually accept it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's. Let me see. Totally bans. Okay.
So, Equalizer, when you say go to the source, like what do you, or get as close to the source as possible?
Well, right now because it's FedNow, you would go on, Federal Reserve website. That's what I would. That's where I go first. And again, like what I was telling BGS a couple of months ago, this is how I literally went to our entire department head. Again, the guy makes over $1 million. He's in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So we had lunch prior, and only he and I were talking about it, even knew what the hell we were each talking about.
Yeah.
Out of a group of almost 10 men.
Yeah.
So right after that, I was surprised that he was on top of the shit. So I went on the Federal Reserve, and I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I got my information from here. He was like shocked that I knew. I said, I'll just print some stuff out for you. As soon as we went to the office, printed some stuff out, gave it to him, and we were talking for another like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I got it from the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's why I monitor it, because what's doing the system.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that I also do taxes for a woman.
South, she's a currency nerd, so that's on top of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I'll nerd on this crap.
ain't many of y'all around, man. So when they talk to currency, oh, wait a minute, you speak my language. Wait, okay.
Exactly. So yeah, man. I do tax for one woman. She's a chief innovator at the Federal Reserve. And when I did her taxes this year, she said, obviously she couldn't really tell me any insider information, but she said, just look at it like this. She said, if they listen to us, that's what she was saying, they will go hand in hand. The pros and cons, or the weaknesses of our currency, of our, the current system will be, the pros of what they're trying to put out. That is what they should do. Now, if that happens, we will see. But she's saying that at least that's what she's trying to get them to do. She's an early 40-something-year-old woman, who's basically, telling 50, 60, 70-year-old men what to do. So,
basically, you don't need the FedNow to be a digital citizen, right? All you need is a debit card, okay? Because your debit card is plugged into your bank. So I did that 8 years ago. Man, when I needed money, I just went in my debit card and slid it in any bank in Guatemala. I got currency out. You don't need the FedNow for that. That system already exists. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, even the
but
bank asks for your debit card now. When you go to the bank, they're like,
but
put your
in,
debit card in. Go ahead.
any of you guys want to argue about crypto? Okay, the link is there. You don't have to be in a chat. The link is there. Come up and tell us what you know. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you can't prove what Sauchi just said. At some place, you're gonna have to spend the goddamn money. Okay,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you have to
That's
spend
the
it.
way
You're gonna find.
I
Go
used
ahead.
I used to track Bitcoin. The way Bitcoin goes up and down, you
Yeah.
gotta spend that money.
It's in my opinion, it's so volatile that even professionals, a lot of them, even they'll say you need to have balls of steel and not
Diamond hands.
again and
Yeah.
not need the money. That's
And not
the
need the
thing.
money. Not need the money because
Yeah.
it can swing so fast.
Exactly.
And you got. There's three things with if you're going to trade these cryptos, and it's I've been tracking them since 2017, right? There's three things you need, right? You need capital with money that you really don't need.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you're going to need discipline. Okay, you got to be disciplined when you trade this shit. Okay, and the third thing you're going to need is patience. Okay. Like I think it dipped down to like 20, but I have to go back to my charts because I have a very good a Fibonacci chart that actually tracks
Mm-hmm.
this stuff, right? And it dipped below 20, and basically, Young Grizzly said it's a good time to buy. I said, "Yep, you buy it now. Anything below 20, you buy it. Just be patient." I think it went up to like 30, 35, so they doubled his money.
Yeah.
You can do that, but things you got to be, like I said, one thing you have to be money that you really don't need because it's risky. It can go down, can lose that money in a heartbeat.
That's
Okay.
right.
Two, you got to be disciplined. Okay, when you do this, not willy nilly. Okay, you can't buy it just at any point. You got to wait for buy points in the currency. Three, you got to be patient. Okay.
Yeah.
For it to pop, and then when it pops, you got to get the fuck out.
And right and what BJ just said is the reason why less than 10% of people make money in the markets.
Yeah.
Emotional trading.
That alone, like yeah, that's what I'm like. You need to have a journal because you're obviously you need a big ego, but you also need a big ego that's in check.
Yeah.
And that's cold blooded.
Yeah.
Well, and again, most people can't do it. They cannot, and this is why I don't recommend it.
No,
I just don't.
They don't have the emotional fortitude or the discipline.
Correct.
You got to have both of those. Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah, the currency is not for the like I said, it's not like my advisor
heart,
said.
huh?
No, it's not for the widows and orphans, as we used to say.
Oh well. When people talk about a forex like it's like flipping real estate, I'm like, listen, these institutions, they have whole departments. Okay,
Yeah.
Some of mathematicians, some who were physicists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's who you're going against.
Oh yeah.
And then the system. So the margin of error is so small and so fast.
Yeah.
Again, I don't recommend it.
In other words, basically the only way you can't beat them. So what you have to be is patient and wait for them to move. Okay. And like I said, you swim with the sharks. You don't swim against the sharks.
Exactly. Well, because then you will be eaten and you're done. You're done because you don't have the money like they got to go back in there like that. You can be done for life.
Yeah, you really can. You really can. You can't go all in. Okay.
Got you. Yeah, I definitely get what you guys are.
Yeah.
So, but with the FedNOW, I was looking into getting into MasterCard stock. Would FedNOW affect MasterCard, seeing as how like MasterCard is like a payment service? Like every.
Okay, just like anything else. Okay. Follow the chart. Look at the chart and see if it reacted to FedNOW. If it does, the big guys will get in. Okay, they'll let you know that there's something going on that you haven't heard about.
Gotcha.
So in other words, go back and go back and look at the chart. It said if it's MasterCard or something like that. Look at the chart, right?
Yeah.
And then go back and look at the news. The internet makes it very easy. Go back and look at the news about FedNOW and see where it started and see how people actually reacted to the news. That'll give you an indication whether there's something going on now.
MasterCard, American Express, Visa, they're solid, right? I mean, they are solid. The thing is, okay, so if we're talking about investing or trading, because there's a big difference between investing and trading.
Oh, I'm not looking to trade.
Okay, so then the deal is, what game are you playing? How much money are you putting in? Like, you got to look at these things because if if it's a long, if you're going for a long game with, say, any of these, card companies, then you pretty much going to be sitting for a while because they've had a real solid, steady run going up. So, I mean, it's solid, but, you're not, I mean, unless you're dumping millions, which would be crazy, unless you're dumping millions in like today and you're going to sit on it for like 2 to 5 years, okay, that's different. But if not, then it's like you're just sitting on that thing for the most part. If that's what that's the game you're playing.
Yeah, this is my old Bitcoin chart, right? I can't remember what date this is. Okay, I think this is 2018. Okay, with my Fibonacci levels. Okay, my old Bitcoin chart. I still use it. Okay, with my Fibonacci levels. Okay, so this is when it first started to go up. So I might dig it back up and actually post some more updated ones. But thing is, that's what I use. I actually use Fibonacci levels. Actually, it responds very well to Fibonacci. That's why I use it. That's just an aside. So I've been tracking this shit for a very long time. Okay, it's not new. Okay.
Hey, Salchi, I actually had a question that went along with what he said, because how I look at it with Visa and MasterCard, Visa's #1. It's all across the world. And they hit everyone with fees every time there's a transaction. Right. And so if they're lowering the amount of money in the system and people are going to continue using debit cards, makes common sense that, until they make, because this is my thing. I don't remember if I was watching the BBC or what news agency, but they were talking about, the exorbitant fees and how much Visa is making off these 4-cent or 5-cent or 25-cent charges when everything is practically going digital and people are not carrying as much money. So they see these, $500 billion, $800 trillion years and shit. Yeah. So that's my question to what he was saying, because that's something that I've been keeping my eyes on. And that's something that, I'm more of a person that pauses. I don't run and I just don't buy. So I've been on pause on that, just waiting to understand it.
But remember, everyone has to go through each country's currency, regardless, right? Yeah. That's the highest level. So that's what I'm saying. I look at it from a macro point of view, then I go down. So Visa, the bank, everybody's going through the Fed, everybody. Yeah. So you start from there. And then you can go down to the institutional side of things, whether it's banks and obviously, Visa in your example. But even right now, what Visa has, these companies are going to have partnerships. And Visa does have a partnership with Coinbase. Yeah. So they're not going anywhere. They're still going to get their fees. You see what I'm saying? They're still going to get their fees. It's just who's going to partner with who.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I was looking at, because it seemed like they were, Visa under attack for, making as much as money and it's hurting small businesses. So I'm like, okay, so who are they connected to? And, I don't have those answers. So it's like, I didn't put money into it because I'm trying to question, I'd rather pause and make it emotional, buy. And I took one L because I bought IBM when BGS was talking about it, but it was, Vito or it's VIDEA or whatever, they make the chips and and I had it saved, but I had my son for the last year, and it's like I just screamed past it and bought more IBM and a few other things, and I looked at it finally. I'm like, damn! From the time I was looking at it was when BGS was talking about those companies. It was like $180, and that stock is up to like 400. And I'm like, God, I took a L just because I fell off of it.
Well, see, the thing, okay, so the thing with trading, again, you have to know, most importantly, you need to understand yourself. Okay. So then you will figure out the game that is best for your strengths, and then you stick to the game at the time where it's most advantageous for your strategy. That's it. So maybe it didn't even matter what was going on with NVIDIA. Like now, everybody's talking about it. Even at my job, the women, black women, they were talking about it, and I laughed at them. I said, "The fact that you're telling me about it, it's over." Like I told them, and obviously I'm the negative guy. I'm like, "No, you don't. you're not looking at the. And I briefly sat down. I looked at the balance sheet. I'm like, listen, it's right now it's 421.03 cents. I'm like, listen, for you to get the percentages that just occurred within the last few days or weeks or hours, they're
Taking
going
3
to
years.
no, they're going to be needing to. They're going to need to hit 40% a clip for the next 10 fucking till 2030.
Oh yeah.
Do you know the probability of that happening? Highly unlikely. But see, most people don't know
Apple. It gotta be Apple. It gotta be top 20. Continuously. So yeah.
So it's highly improbable. Highly improbable.
I learned about that when BGS 2 years ago was talking about IBM and that one. And when I clicked IBM, those 3 companies that they were attached to in Japan or wherever, they all popped up together. I saved them all. I bought like 50 IBMs, and I was looking at that one. I didn't understand it. I never heard of it, so I was like, I saved it.
IBM is basically a blue chip, man. Like Microsoft, you know what I'm saying? So it's again.
No, I understood. I understood IBM.
Okay.
I never heard of that company.
Okay, NVIDIA. Okay.
Yeah, NVIDIA. And I was like, let me just put it in the save folder. And I don't like going on my profile a lot because I don't like watching too much. And I just clicked on it to check out something. I scrolled down the video for something, and I looked at it. I was like, wait, I fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're gonna miss.
I forgot about it. Yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah, you're gonna miss.
Sir. But let me let y'all get back to that's what I was wondering when he brought up this visa, because I was reading 2 articles on it and they had it on the news, and I was trying to wrap my head around it.
Evidently, man, their stock price went up under COVID. When in other words, they're going cashless. So they it's time to get in. They're trying to push people toward the debit cards instead of.
So I think it's time to go. Then
I just ordered my groceries on my phone.
COVID was a boon to debit cards. They're forcing people off of cash, so there probably is a good idea to get into it. The thing is, don't rush into it. You actually do your homework first.
Exactly.
I'm about to buy. Usually, I would just buy 25 stocks or something. So I'm gonna buy 25. How much ever that costs me?
What a Visa or a MasterCard? Depends on which one.
Visa. How much is Visa running?
$238.88. That's what it closed today.
I'll buy 16. Yeah.
Yeah. I always say do your homework first. I was told.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna step down and get back to painting these corner boards and shit. I'm gonna holler at y'all.
All right. Yeah. We're getting ready to bounce off. In a minute because we're like an hour and a half in. So
already.
I was seeing if Green Gorilla was actually going to go today, but he doesn't have anything up. So and Dr. T said he's not doing anything. So I'm trying to prime the pump for you guys. You guys leave money.
I sent that video to my dad, to my cousins, to 2 of my officer friends. I sent that video to a few people. People are like, they're confused and they're saying, so this is they don't even know, man.
Which video?
They're under last night. Susan Johnson and BBS.
Male emotional labor. Yeah.
Yeah. I just told them. I said, yo, y'all not ready for BGS. Just listen to this type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Don't come to this side. Y'all officers, y'all this, y'all that. Do not come to this side yet.
Yeah, and this is still at the baby level, man. This is not.
Yes.
Oh yeah. A lot of my relatives are not ready for BTS. I know
it. Saucy can tell you, man. In fact, I'm waiting for Saucy's thing on Rhymes. Is it this month? I think it's this month.
Yeah, this month.
Yeah. I can't wait for that one. But what we talk about on Rhyme stuff, man, is like it's way above this level. Okay.
Oh hell no! We can't bring that out.
Way above this level. Okay.
Black Vans will be at.
I do with Salchi. I do the same thing I do with Nicole. I just take notes and pray I understand it later.
It's just like anything else, man. It just takes time. Sauchi's been doing this for a long time. So like Sauchi, you acquire this knowledge over time, right? Because it took me 3 years to actually understand the goal system. Okay, 3 years. Okay. Reading everything I get my hands on. to actually understand it in a couple. That's why I give you guys the shortcuts to it, like the seminal books, like Gold Dollars and Power. Okay, if you understand the Bretton Woods system, okay, which actually includes all the systems that are still here, right? Okay, all the arguments are still here. So I give you guys seminal books. So it's kind of shorten the learning curve because I had to read a lot to actually get to where I'm at now. It wasn't. I was actually working, man. This used to be like my hobby. I used to put in like 20, 25 hours a week just reading this kind of stuff. So
Mm.
that was my hobby.
Yeah.
So all I'm doing is sharing you my hobby that I've done over the past, I would say, 30 years. Because if you get into something, you become like a nerd. And so
Yeah.
and you understand if you understand the gold system and the cash system, how the global infrastructure kind of works, okay, when you see something, you say, okay, that makes sense. Like when I saw crypto, I said, oh, people going crazy. I said, yeah, but you got to cash in the money someplace, right? So there's a limit to what you can actually do with it. People went crazy over it. Said, at the end of the day, it's still a currency. People
Yes.
didn't believe it. Yeah. Well, it's just like gold. No, it's not like gold, okay? Because gold is physical, okay?
Exactly. And it's limited.
And it's limited,
Extremely limited. Yeah.
and basically, it's not an exchange where people can rip off your gold, and disappear with it. You can't do that with gold. Okay, that's why they went to gold. It's physical. Whereas the digit, they press a button. With the Ukraine crypto saying, man, they pressed the button, it was gone. Right?
Yep.
Okay, can't do that with gold. Okay, that's why physical. That's the same thing even with dollars, right? It's a difference. It's a physical currency. It's got to move a certain way. If you got $10,000 underneath your mattress, it's there, right? It's not a digit. They can't cut it back. They cannot say I can't accept it, right? It's there. Physical currencies are there for a reason. That's like people don't want to give up physical currencies because it is solid. Okay, digital currencies it hasn't been around long enough. Okay,
Yeah.
to even trust it. You guys are trusting something that hasn't even been proven because it's a new thing. And I said just like what was that thing about NFTs? Okay,
Oh,
people going crazy over.
Yeah.
I said
Non-fungible tokens.
yeah, non-fungible token. It's the motherfucking tulips. It's a program. Okay, people can copy that shit. Okay,
yeah.
some smart guy's gonna figure out how to copy the Bitcoin at some point. Okay, because it's a program. It's digits. Somebody's gonna find a way to break through it. Basically, especially with a fucking quantum computer, you can.
Technically, they already kind of did because the source code's already out there. That's what Litecoin is, except they up the total quantity of Litecoin. It pretty much people just like copied the Bitcoin code and made different,
Yeah.
like changes to what they want. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
To what they wanted to do to it.
And the downside of Bitcoin, and people don't talk about it, especially with Bitcoiners, like, the people that made their money, man, I'm proud of them, right?
Yeah.
You saw it, the opportunity, you got in, you got
You
lucky,
got
you made money, you got the fuck out, just like
Yes.
Proud to be a Simp. You got the fuck out, right? It's extremely energy intensive. At some point, that's like China got rid of. It's too energy intensive. Okay. At some point, you're gonna have to go to something that's more efficient.
Stable.
Bitcoin is not that as efficient as you think it is. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not as stable as you think it is. Okay. Thing is, it's new. It's like when Apple computers first came out, right? IBM had 98% of the market. There weren't no viruses written for Apple because it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
As soon as it became worth it, especially like the iPhone or something like that, oh yes, okay, now it's worth it. Okay, now you see viruses. Okay.
Yep. What is the utility?
What is utility? What's the payoff? Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
now you hear horror stories about how people stealing other people's iPhone IDs and stuff and taking all their money.
Taking all the money. So basically, I say any technology, anything new, okay, investigate it and pump your brakes. Okay. Pump your brakes because I hate quoting Thomas Sowell, man. Okay, there's no solutions, there's only trade-offs, right? Okay, you got something that works. What's the trade-off? Okay, there's always trade-offs. You got to investigate trade-offs, and any finance guy will. The first thing they're going with anything new, they're going to be cautious because they've seen too many things fail.
Oh yeah,
too many people get their money stolen.
Anybody remember MySpace? Oops, let's say that out loud.
MySpace had a bunch of kids that jumped on there, and MySpace didn't do a good job of securing.
It actually gave you too much control.
Well, you did, and it basically a lot of viruses into it. That's like Facebook took over. MySpace would have been where Facebook is now if it wasn't for the viruses.
That's right.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Anyway, y'all, closing thoughts. Oh, wait, let me get hot sauce on and James on real quick. Okay, you guys got 15 minutes. Y'all late, man, but it's all right. You guys got 15
What
minutes.
up, hot sauce?
I think he's on. He's on mute.
He's on mute.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I just got off work. It's like seven.
Okay.
Seven.
Okay. Nope. No issues. You got about 15 minutes before I close out. You want?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll just make two quick statements. When number one, when we're talking about digital currency, and even this goes into the bigger picture of fintech. The problem with it's just overall at the end of the day, you're comparing a computer software compared to weight, right? Where you can physically dig out of the ground. That definitely has a finite number. Whereas with a program, anything can happen with that. And at the end of the day, people got to really understand something. Monetary policy is a sovereign right. So at the end of the day, even if Bitcoin is valuable, a country has the right to say we're going to accept it or not. That's why Bitcoin is not accepted here in China, right? They have their own digital currency.
Right.
And see that's the thing where when we talk about fintech, it doesn't go into the count of utility, right? And we every time there's a pandemic or something wrong, Bitcoin always drops because it's low in utility and it's low in against sovereign policy. Like country can say, we just don't want it, and so that's what we need to be careful. And you have to have some type of physical currency. And the scary thing about FedNow is two things. Number one, the expiration date on your funds, and number two, the way they wrote the program where it can be permissible and non-permissible at the same time. So for example, if they don't want you to go to like California, if you're in New York, your money won't be good in California. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like the digital currency here in China is nothing like that. And most people still use mobile payment instead of digital currency anyway.
Yeah.
It's not even that popular here. Most stuff here is you either pay by your phone or face recognition for the most part.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And how is it 100% cashless hot sauce, or is it what percent would you say?
In Shanghai is 100% cashless because you pay with your phone. Whether I pay individually, I pay through my phone called WeChat Pay, and then through your business or business accounts, it's electronic pay, and they issue like electronic receipts. So in Shanghai, it's 100% cashless. 100%.
Wow.
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 Yeah.
That's where you're headed. So that I
haven't touched cash since 2019.
China's ahead of the curve. So
So it would be like fair to like not guess, but I guess like to assess that, the FedNow is here and it is here to stay. I know a lot of people like to run with the narrative of like, oh, Bitcoin is going to be our saving grace. But once again, you've got to come out of Bitcoin if you want to transact into other countries' currency. So I guess my, not maybe a question, but I guess my path going forward would be to look for where my money runs the longest.
Or I would look at it this way: if shit hits the fan, who do you think is gonna have the best backing? The U.S. military or
the U.S.
fucking Bitcoin?
Yeah,
I mean,
Uncle Sam.
I mean,
Uncle Sam.
Come on.
I don't like what Uncle Sam doing right now, but I'll take them over Bitcoin for that.
The thing is, like what my advisor told me a long time ago, Craig Hewlett. You have to look at the world like a banker.
Yes.
In other words, without any morals, right?
Yes.
You got to be flexible and quick and decisive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Be first, be smarter or cheat. Okay.
Well, see, what I would kind of recommend, I would recommend that most people, especially if you're in a big city, LA, Chicago, New York, Philly, Detroit, whatever, try to get yourself into a multi-currency bank, right? And just put money away in different currencies, pounds, euros, stuff like that, if you can. And if you
Yeah.
and if you can try to make money abroad if you can, because I mean we do online for the
Yeah.
most part, so it's kind of easy to do so.
Yeah.
But I mean those are your best
Yeah,
bets.
and in other words, what Hot Sauce is saying, have multiple places to park your money if you got that much.
It's
That's
called
the
risk
thing.
management.
Risk management, exactly.
That's what it
That's
That's
is.
the thing.
yeah.
I'm trying to get to the point whereby it, because of like, like guys like you and like other people that I listen to, I
Mhm.
know that I'm like, okay, financially I'm okay, but I'm trying to get to the accumulation. I'm in the accumulation phase whereby I
Okay.
don't have enough to preserve my wealth to
Mhm.
call it that. I'm trying to find my thing whereby it's like, okay, my net worth is so much that I can move it into different type of currencies or precious metals or stocks. Is like I have
Yeah.
those, but it's not anything that will make like make people go, well, it makes some people go, but it's not like
There,
seven figures.
there's risky stuff that will make you money, like Bitcoin and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and there's stuff that's defensive. Metals are always defensive. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
defensive first.
Gold, silver, yep.
That's always defensive
yeah,
first.
because it's
Unless
gonna
some,
yeah,
yeah,
because even now, because like what is it, 85% of Americans hold their wealth in real estate,
yeah,
but and they say that real estate is what is it, a kind of recession proof. I disagree with that actually.
it is not. We found that out in 2008. It's not. Okay.
Yeah, because pretty much a house just follows the true value. It doesn't really, it's not going to really like make you money as much.
It's either an investment or it's house. Then it can't be both.
Yeah.
And for me, I just tell people,
And
look at it
James,
from
you
a
can get
cash.
in right next, right to talk to you. Okay.
I tell people, look at it from a cash flow point of view. It's really that simple. Am I making money now or not? That's great. I got my house and the value right now went up, but guess what? You didn't transact. So you didn't realize that supposed equity. And not only that, while you had the house, you have expenses on that house. So the vast majority of people are actually in the red. They just don't know it until they sell their house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
I
looking at
definitely
it in real time all the time. So I'm like, bro, you're in the red. Like you lost. Like don't look at a house as an investment.
An old guy once told me, he said, "You're making money when you buy, not when you sell." Yeah.
Correct.
Go ahead, James. Jump in.
No, I just had one question and a comment to piggyback on the real estate. And even in this current environment, right? So I deal with some clients and a lot of them, I think what is it called? The wealth effect, right? They get so caught up on like, oh, I got equity in this. And I'm like, well, can you refine it? Right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like no one cares, right? But it's crazy how Americans really think like, well, I got a house and the values are going up. And I'm like, okay, let's keep it honest. If you sell right now, will you take massive profits? If you cannot sell,
If you sell it, where can you live? If you sell
it?
Exactly. So where I'm at, right? This is how we do it, right? I mean, it matters if you get a HELOC. Okay, they're gonna do the appraisal right now. Yeah, they're gonna look at the equity right now, but they're also gonna be looking at that shit at least minimum annually. So again, it doesn't matter for the most part. You're not cash flowing. Like you can't, in a sense, live off of that. So it doesn't matter. So even if you retire and you downsize, what are the prices? What's the living costs wherever you're going to be after 10, 20, 30 years? This is why you're hearing a lot of these older folks who are retiring like, holy shit, because they weren't paying attention. Right. I can't believe rent is this much. Well, shit, we had an internet since the 90s, so you fucked up.
When we're talking about older folks, and one of the things I hope to get into soon, this is not financial advice, it's just what I'm personally doing, is getting into retirement properties abroad and medical tourism. Right? These are going to be huge in the next 5, 10, maybe even sooner, because
even sooner
right?
now.
It's right now.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah,
it's right now. Baby boomers.
Getting in investment properties in Panama or in Costa Rica and things like that, where small properties. What is it, Belize right now, where you can get like $10,000, $20,000.
Yeah,
I've been hearing about Belize for
Right.
the last 12 years.
And
Nicaragua too.
So yeah, but I mean, just the point is like places where they have good health,
Yes.
good, cheap health insurance, buy properties there, and and rental properties, right? Because how you fight inflation is by just increasing your cash flow. And there's more and more Americans. Actually, there's more and more Europeans, Westerners in general, are going to these developed countries with good healthcare.
Because cut your cost of living down.
Correct. Yeah, so again, that's what I was saying. You got to look at the baby boomers, man, because the baby boomers, they still have all the money. I mean, the vast majority of the money. So
this is the problem with America. This is the problem with America at the moment, right? Two people are leaving, right? The young people are leaving, which is gonna. I believe in the next 3 years, you're gonna start seeing a brain drain in America for the first time, at least in my lifetime. Right, a brain drain in America. People are going to start going to the east, and then you're going to have the older folks who have a decent pension or whatever leaving as well.
Leaving as well. I've been saying that for the last 15 years. That older folks, and people are scared. But the thing is, I say if you want to, if you can't live a decent life here in the United States, hey, and if you don't have to hit a clock or check into an office, leave. Go someplace else.
Yeah. And also there's not that many like valuable jobs for graduates. What is it, like 60% are underemployed right now? 60%.
Yeah. So it's called automation, sir. It's called automation. And capitalism. What is capitalism? It's the opiate profits.
Well, I view
and we got about 5 more minutes, guys.
I'm just going to say this and I'll pop off.
Okay.
I view automation a bit different. I view automation different because of aging population. I think automation is necessary because we just don't have enough people in the workforce to take care of the senior citizens through taxes and things like that. I get it. But I mean, interesting to hear you guys.
The thing is, how does capitalism and their thirst for profits go along with automation and people's needs?
I think two things can be true at the same time.
They can't be done at the same time. But will they be done at the same time?
No. I think we're past that point just for the simple fact of you look at just the healthcare in this country. You look at the healthcare costs. Just the healthcare costs alone. And then you look at the amount of people who actually pay income taxes compared to the population, the aging population. We're beyond sustainability. It's way beyond sustainability. Way beyond.
I mean, you could bring AI and automation and stuff like that to actually lower medical costs.
That's still be a fraction.
If they wanted to, the thing is they'll be taking profit out of the medical system. If you did that.
That's right.
Well, there's a lot of profit built into the medical system. There's no way it should cost you. You could actually, for the price it costs you for a guy to walk into the emergency room, you actually send him a doctor in a bag, okay?
Yeah.
And hook him up to a vest and do all his vitals in his own house for a tenth of the cost if you really wanted to, right? The thing is, it's easier to actually charge him $1,500. That's where the profit comes in.
But see, BGS, I hear what you're saying, but the thing about it is, by eliminating the doctors and the nurses, because your operational costs normally of an average business, 60% of your expenses is salaries,
it's
right?
labor.
So,
it's salaries. There you have it. It's a conundrum, is it not?
Right. So because I mean, like right now, I don't know how big it is over back home, but you got telemedicine, right? That's growing in Europe. That's growing in Africa as well, right?
Because it's necessary. Even in China, it's necessary, right? The United States is still a hardcore capitalist country. There's got to be money involved. If there's not, then
there is money. There is.
What I'm saying is, but not the profits that they're getting. Okay, there's a reason that
the profit margins.
I don't know.
Can I just piggyback on this? So before I got in law enforcement, I worked in healthcare as an analyst and informatics. What BJS is saying is very true. The profit margins are so thin in hospitals where the system, even right now, when COVID popped off, it pretty much collapsed a lot of the medical, just healthcare in general. Because they were so thin. So as BJS, I agree with BJS on this. The system is so built in for profit driven that at any given time, they need to keep doctors. They need to keep that machine rolling, even at whatever expense, because
What I'm saying is this: I'm simply saying that by eliminating doctors, eliminating your labor costs, you will increase your profits.
no, I disagree with you on that, because one of the issues that you have, this is not America that is, compared to the East or even Europe, that is healthy. Americans are very, very
Unhealthy.
complacent,
Yeah.
unhealthy, and so this is one of the issues where I think that even now with seniors, with adequate healthcare, baby boomers, right? They still, everyone's wired to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
With all the information that you have to be productive and healthy, motherfuckers will still be like, nah, I gotta go get this thing checked out. Something ain't right. This is the psychology of Americans, and this is why I agree with you, Jeff. This one, it is, we're too hardwired. As much as advancement we have, even the medical system knows that. It is hard. It is hard to tell the average American, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't have 68 grams of Coca-Cola every other week.
Every day.
Every day. I've seen people every day even in law enforcement. They will go to the vending machine and they will see that, look at that, so they know it's destructive. Fuck it, I'll just drink it every day.
Every day.
Well, I mean, but to be fair though, sugar is just as addictive as narcotics.
Yeah.
No, I get that, but this is what I'm saying. The psychology of Americans.
It takes a while.
It takes a while, brother.
Yeah, it takes a while. And the thing is that and it's also on the business side, it does take a while too, because they should have done this under Hillary. They should have done it under Obama. People, there's a lot of resistance.
I think it got worse under the Obamacare, and of course they were trying to do it way before Obama, but it just went through with him because I was literally dealing with some like stockbrokers, and they were saying, one of the guys, he was in his 40s at the time, he was like, yo, like he and his family, he said he spends $5,000 because he's self-insured. He's spending 5,000 grand a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like people don't really see what it really fucking costs, either until they become self-employed or when it's too late, when they retire, and many of them have to go to work so they can afford adequate health insurance.
Yeah.
And hopefully they were taking care of their health throughout their life, or else they're pretty much fucked.
Yeah.
Sadly to say.
Anyway, closing thoughts, folks, because we're almost at 2 hours.
Okay, I'm just gonna go off BJS. Thanks a lot. And,
appreciate you, Hot Stuff, for dropping in, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
I'll go real quick. I didn't really say too much because there's experts up here that know more than me, so I'm just absorbing and listening.
No, it doesn't matter. Your opinion matters here. So
but I was just gonna co-sign what Hassan said, because I think you remember I called you when I was in China. And the only places that you actually could spend cash were like corner stores or like little street merchants and everything. They didn't have the technology.
Right.
But WeChat, and if you're American, you couldn't really shop there because you weren't able to have WeChat, so you needed a guide with you. So yes, they've been mostly a cashless society since I think like 2014 about. Well, and they just been moving closer and spreading out that technology. So what they will do, if you want to pay with your card, even like the little cart, the little street merchants and everything we're starting to do this.
Oh yeah, I just saw the taco stand, man, down the street, man, with the little,
they have that little pay thing,
little pay thing, hook up to a cell phone.
Square,
huh?
Square, I think.
Yeah, they have it laminated. They'll have it hanging up, or they'll have it on there. You just take a picture. You pay that way now.
Yeah, you pay that way. Yeah.
China been doing that for years. China been doing that for years. Yeah. Also, people think like Western Europe is a cashless society. They do not want cash. They charge you extra if you are paying with cash in Western Europe.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they will charge you extra.
It costs more money to handle cash than do it electronically.
That's true.
In fact, that's how come grocery stores give you cash back, right?
Yes. Yes. So like even the people, a lot of people, because certain apps were like Cash App or PayPal, it only works in the UK. If you are in any other country, you have to try to use their money transfer system, and I couldn't access it, and I was trying to give one of my friends back in cash. They did not want cash, so America is actually very slow. I think it's actually gaining more steam in South America. To the few countries I've been, I was able not to pay. I didn't have to pay with debit card. I mean, I was able to pay with debit card for a lot of my visits. Where places in the United States want cash.
We got
So go ahead.
shorted up. We got shorted
Sorry,
up.
I'm done. I'm
It's
done.
okay.
My fault.
It's okay. We can do this next time. Y'all ask us to be on time. I will probably announce it earlier next time so we can be on time, okay, and get all their thoughts out. But who's next?
I'll go next.
Oh, good. Who else?
I'll go. FedNow's here. Buckle up. I'm out.
Well, with things we don't know what it'll do. Just like
also, I'm not a financial expert for the record. That's how.
don't go.
I keep it funky. I'm sorry. I ain't no financial.
Any financial expert will tell you do your homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't trust anybody with your money without you doing your homework. Okay. Yep. Do your homework. Okay. No. Solid will tell you do your homework. Go ahead.
I'm new. I'm just trying to get as much information as I can. I think I need to start traveling more, especially with like South America.
Yeah. While it's still cheap, do it now.
Yeah, because everything seems to be compressing at an accelerated rate versus like the 2010s or the early 2000s.
You have no idea, man, how fast this shit's going to actually compress. I mean, in like
3 to 5 years.
Yeah, 3 to 4. Well, yeah. Well, I would say 5, but now it looks like 3. Yeah, they're actually behind and they're rushing to catch up. And with these AIs out running amok, okay, Katie barred the door. We have no clue about how this is actually going to shake out. Artificial wombs, all this stuff is accelerating at such a rapid rate, man. Can't even keep up with it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
All right.
As well. I'll go next. Per usual, appreciate the space. BGS,
love you, Salchi, man.
Yes, sir.
You always back me up and verify that what I'm saying is not crazy. Okay.
Yeah, you're just way ahead. You're just way ahead, and of course, you're a Negro who doesn't have a PhD attached. So what do you know?
What do I know, man? I'm just a guy with an opinion. That's all. In fact, I got a PhD telling me that right now. I'm just a guy. Female is a matter of fact.
Which is where, even though all the anthropologists and the neuroscientists will completely disagree with her, but that's okay.
It's okay. You don't have no letters, Negro. What I'm saying, it's all good because that's how that's how I learn by being questioned. It makes me sharper. So I have no problem with that.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, James. Closing thought.
I didn't get to ask this question, and maybe you could tell us offline. Again, thank you, Fauci, as well. Thank you, brothers, all the brothers that listen and hop on ASAP. My question to you is, with the hot jobs report that came out, right? Now, obviously, it seemed like market sentiment is feeling like the Fed is really going to jack up rates because obviously the more people that get jobs, the more money that means they're going to spend. Core inflation is going to get higher, right?
Yeah.
Do you think do you think in your opinion that the Fed is, or just Powell is really about to say, I got to put the clamp on this because obviously humans have not realized that if they, know what I mean?
Okay. I'll take about 30 seconds, right?
Yep.
Okay. You either pick the currency or the banks because the banks have so much red ink on their balance sheet, they can't handle it, right? Why do you think they stayed at zero interest rates for so long?
Yep. Fair enough.
Because the banks have so much red ink on their balance sheet, they have to correct that. Now, did they I don't know if they did a proper job in correcting that or getting rid of the bad assets or whatever they had done, basically. And maybe they haven't. The thing is, raising interest rates will actually start killing banks. Okay.
Yeah.
You want them to start killing banks. That's the balance. The thing is, that's why the Yellen says we need to, let it de-dollarize. We'll take that chance and actually preserve the banks. Basically, Powell says we got to protect the currency by raising rates. We got to put the austerity. okay, which is what he's supposed to do under normal circumstances. But the thing is that the banks are so weak. I don't know who do you. It's almost like Biden almost has the same problem that that Trump had with COVID, right? Kobayashi
Yeah,
Maru. It's a no-win situation. Which one do you pick?
I see what you're saying.
I mean, that's just what I see. I have limited information, so I see what you guys see. The thing is, with my experience, when we looking at this stuff, right?
Hmm.
Basically, I know I have an idea what Powell's doing. I can't swear by it because he won't say it outright, but I think he's trying to protect the currency as he's supposed as
As he
Volcker
should.
as Volcker did back in the 80s. You know, he raised interest rates to 21%. Okay, to
Yeah.
actually corrected what was going on with the dollar. Okay,
No,
can't.
yeah, it makes sense.
The thing is, the banks were much healthier back in the 70s, right? They're much more
That's
stable,
true.
right? Your
That is
banks are not.
very, very true.
Your banks are not stable. Okay, they haven't been stable since 2007.
And
Can they take that shock? I don't know.
that's,
But we're
that's
gonna
true.
find
And
out. You know,
no,
we're gonna find
you're right.
we're gonna find out, won't we?
Yeah, we are gonna find out because at the end
Because
of the day, it wasn't Powell's fault. The banks got in that jam in the first place.
the thing is, Powell's part of the Fed. It is the Fed's fault that the banks got in that problem in the first place because they should have reined them in well before this. They didn't. Okay.
Yeah,
But now
yeah,
you're here. What do? Basically, under Obama tried to push remedies through the I think it called it the
the Banking Act,
no
the
no no it
Frank
was
Dodd.
no it was that that came out later, but they came out earlier. You know, but
Okay, okay,
I think it was the Council on Debt, right? And they
okay,
gave
okay.
remedies about how to get out of this debt. Reduce your military, reduce this, reduce this,
You're
and that's
right. You're
pay
right.
this stuff down, get the bank solid, and then build. But things you have to go through the pain first, right?
Yep.
They decided the people that make money decided against that. In fact, they revert. Sometimes they even reverse field. That's how SVB got into trouble, right? They
Yep.
they they found a loophole through the Frank Dodd Act, right? Okay,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Dodd
You're right.
Frank Act, right? They found a loophole, right? Guess what happened to them 3 years later? Okay, they're not here. Okay,
Yep.
the thing is, at some point they're gonna have to go back to the basics. But the thing is, at this point, can they? You know, I don't know. Maybe we've gone too far. Okay, I don't know. We'll
Gotcha.
find out because now Powell's up against it, especially with with the bricks breathing down their neck. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know.
right.
I
Britain's.
wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be in Biden's shoes right now. That's just me. Okay.
I see what you're saying because
Yeah.
damn if you do, damn if you don't. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just like when Trump on COVID, right? He know what he
Yep.
had. Damned if you do, and damned if you don't. Either way, Trump was going to lose. Okay, that
Yeah.
fight, and he did. So I don't know. You know, your question, your answer is as good as mine, man. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Fair
I don't
enough.
know. But things all
Thank
we
you.
can do is look at the pieces, look at the breadcrumbs, and try to figure out what direction they're actually going to go in. We don't know. All we can do is follow them. But
That's true.
that's what I'm here for. These are the breadcrumbs. This is what I see. Go look at it for yourself and draw your own conclusion. That's all I can do. But anyway.
Thank you. Thank you, brother, as always. Thank you.
All right. All right,
Oh,
y'all. All right, y'all. That's all the time I got for today. Today, you guys got 2 hours instead of 1 hour. Okay. But it's all good. So hit my like button and hopefully I will see you tomorrow. I don't even know what we actually will be talking. People want to talk about the anima for whatever reason, but we'll talk about the anima tomorrow. Okay. I don't know why I've talked about it enough, but we can actually go through it again. Anyhow, y'all. With that, I'm gonna bounce off of here and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.